Morning student. Today's already we have studied method of separation, and there are one or more method used for separation of a substance from a mixture. Now we'll study, can water dissolve any amount of a substance? In this chapter we'll learn, can water dissolve any amount of a substance? We found that many substances dissolve in water and form a solution. We said that these substances are soluble in water. What will happen if you go on adding more and more of this substance to a fixed quantity of water? So now we'll take an activity and we'll see what will happen if you add more and more substance of or substance to a fixed quantity of water. You will need a beaker or a tumbler, a spoon or salt and water. Spoon, salt and water. Pour up a cup of water in the beaker. Add 1 teaspoon of salt and stir it well until the salt dissolves completely. You will find now what you have to do. Again add a teaspoon of salt and stir well. Go on adding salt, 1 teaspoon salt at a time, and stir it. After adding a few spoons of salt, do you find that some salt remains undissolved and settle at the bottom of the beaker? Take a glass. In that glass, add some water. Fill that glass with water and add one after the other 1 spoon of salt and again stir it. Again you add salt and again stir it. At one stage, until the salt dissolve in it, you just add and stir it. At one particular stage, you will find the salt will not dissolve. It will become undissolved and it will settle at the bottom. Then what is that? At that point, what we call the more salt can be dissolved in the amount of water we have taken. The solution is now said to be saturated. Now the salt is not dissolving in the water. Now it is not. It is undissolved and is settled at the bottom. That at that solution, at that point, the solution is said to be saturated. Here is a hint as to what might have gone wrong when the large quantity of salt mixed with sand. So now, the quantity of salt was much more than that required to form a saturated solution. So what happened? I- In water, if you in water, it is fixed quantity water. If you had more and more salt in it, what happened? At a particular stage, it will not dissolve. At that point, what happened? It will not dissolve, and that remaining salt will settle at the bottom. At that point, the solution is said to be saturated. Saturation, I hope you understood the meaning of saturation. So would you have remained mixed with the sand and coal could not be recovered? She could have a problem. So suppose she did not have sufficient quantity of water to dissolve all the salt in the mixture. Is there any some way that water could be made to dissolve more salt before the solution gets saturated? Yes, there is another way. What do you have to do? You supply temperature. You supplies temperature by heating. By heating, what happened after after reaching the water, after the solution reached to the saturated point? What happened? You supply heat. If you heat it, what happened? Again, it will the temperature rise, and the again the salt will dissolve at a particular point. Again, you heat it. Again, you had some salt. Now you take an activity. You will find how we had more more salt by supplying temperature. Take some water in a beaker and mix salt in it until it cannot dissolve any more salt. This will give you a saturated solution of salt in water. Now add a small quantity of salt to this saturation solution and heat it. What I told you, supply heat here. You supply heat. What do you find? What happens to the undissolved salt in the bottom of the beaker? Does it dissolve? Yeah. Now, yes. Can some more salt be dissolved in this solution by heating it? Let this hot solution cool. Now again make it cool. Does the salt appears to settle at the bottom of the beaker again? Yes. The activity suggests that the largest quantity of salt can be dissolved in water on heating. The, from this, what you often from this activity, the activity suggests that the larger quantity of salt can be dissolved in water on heating. So after after adding salt in a mixture in a solution of water at a fixed quantity, what happened? At a particular point, it reaches to the saturation solution. At that point, you will find the salt settle at the bottom part. Now you supply heat. If you supply heat, what happen? Again, it will dissolve some salt. This is how you can add some salt on by eating. Take two glass and pour half a cup of water in each of them. Add a teaspoon of salt to one glass and stir till the salt dissolve. Go on adding salt on teaspoon at a time till the solution saturated. Record the number of spoon of salt that dissolve in the water. In table 5.2, now repeat the same activity in sugar with repeat with the same other substance that are soluble in water. Here, salt and sugar is given. Substance number of spoon of substance that dissolve in water. You can count here. You can count and you can record those. What do you notice from the table 5.2? Do you find the water dissolve different substance in different amount? Yes. Different substance added in water will have a uh, different amounts. We have discussed a few methods of separation substance. Some of the methods of separation present in this chapter are also used in science laboratory. We also learned that a solution is prepared by dissolving a substance in a liquid. A solution is said to be saturated if it cannot dissolve more of the substance in it. That is known as solution. Solution means what? Here, this is the definition of solution. You can underline and you can learn. So already this chapter has been completed, and also this exam portion you have written this fifth lesson chapter as a portion. So already this chapter is completed. We will study next chapter, chapter number 7, in coming classes. Sorry, I did not know when the exam is going to happen because I am busy in village. So forgive me so that I could not find you the solution, exact solution in which you need to be prepared. And I to next chapter will study chapter number 7, and will be advanced in preparation for exams.